We're back with some more Elite Speak, and this is your late night Dynamite on September 22nd, 2020 review. I stayed up a little late to watch this. It didn't start till like 12:30, 11:30, depending on where you are. But the show opened up with Jericho coming to the announce desk as he basked in the glory of the folks singing his entrance tune. The many wrestlers on the outside in the crowd, they sung along, and he took it all in before he headed to the desk. And then they hit us with one of three great matches on the night. The first one being Ben Carter versus Scorpio Sky. Newcomer Ben Carter, this would be his third match in AEW. His other match came that same evening earlier on Dark. He went up against Lee Johnson, which was great. And he also had a match with Ricky Starks the previous week, and that was good also. This was great for his TV debut. Both locked it up to start. Sky switches to a full Nelson position, then Sky transitions behind him. Both then trade a great sequence. Sky dropped Toho's Carter, then rolls Carter up for a 2 count. Then Carter rolls out of it, and both get to their feet and stare off. They stare at each other. Both then battle it out in the ring corner as Carter backflips out of it, then arm drags Sky. Sky then uppercuts Carter in the ring corner himself. Carter then demonstrates his speed as he flips, waist locks, then leapfrogs and drop kicks Sky outside of the ring. They then show respect for one another, then get back to business as Sky locks Carter's left arm and Carter returns the favor. Sky later chops, then drop kicks him, and he Russian leg sweeps Carter for a 2 count. Sky later picks him up, then back breaks him and holds it a bit, then transitions to an abdominal stretch. Carter later shotgun chops Sky in the corner repeatedly. Then Sky retaliates with a right hand that sends Carter flying to the ground. Later, Carter flips over Sky and hits a reverse DDT, which looks great, and goes for a standing moonsault for a two count. Carter then goes for a dive on Sky, but lands on his feet and meets a boot from Sky for his troubles. Carter also gets a tope on Sky and goes for a frog splash immediately after for a 2 count. Sky then hits a hanging neck breaker on Carter for a 2 count, and it was nicely sold by Carter. Scorpio then goes for a fisherman buster, but Carter reverses. Carter hits a lumbar kick, but Sky hits his fisherman buster for a 2 count. Sky then grabs Carter's legs for a scorpion deathlock, but Carter avoids it and goes for a roll-up pin for a 2. Sky then drop kicks and stomps Carter's back. Sky then kicks him in the face and then plants him with a TKO for the win. And it was a great sell for Carter, and it was a great match to boot. Perfect one to open the show up with, and I give it a 3.5. No, actually, I give that a 4-star. That's a 4-star match, in my opinion. Pay-per-view worthy and definitely TV worthy. And you got that for free. It's good stuff. After that, we get a promo hyping up the 6-man tag for tonight's Wednesday Dynamite, but I got an update on that. Apparently, one of the combatants, Lance Archer, has COVID, so they have to change the matchup, so the 6-man won't go on as scheduled. So instead, Mox will defend his title against Eddie Kingston, who never went over the top rope. Who never went over the ropes in the Royale at All Out. So tying up a loose end there instead. So Archer will be back in another 2 weeks. So he will have his quarantine out the way by then. Next match we had Anna Jay versus Brandi Rhodes, and this was also a good one. It was a grudge match. All started August 22nd on that Saturday night Dynamite when Cody got beat down by the Dark Order. And then Anna Jay choked out Brandi. Well, this stemmed from that. And this could be the blow-off match, but here we go. Both start with strikes. Brandi hits her spear pretty early, the bionic spear. Later, both take it to the apron, and Brandi face busts Jay and sends her into the guardrail after. Brandi then hits the Luthez press and gets more strikes in on Jay. Brandi then chops Jay multiple times and sends her to the other side of the ring. Jay then goes for the Queen Slayer and brings Brandi down to the mat, but Brandi uses this to get Jay's shoulders down and gets a 2 count. Rhodes then mounts and strikes Jay some more, but Jay then gets some offense in. She gets Brandi into a corner and stomps her and gets a 1 count for her efforts as she tries to pin. Jay then gets aggressive and works over Brandi a bit more and uses her boots to choke her in the ring corner. She then hits the ropes for a flipping neck breaker and gets a 2 count. Brandi later hits a sling blade, and then Stu and Uno comes out, and this distracts the ref. But while the ref was distracted, Brandi hits her shot of Brandi big pump kick, which would have been a 3 count, but the ref was distracted, so Anna Jay used this opportunity. She locked in her Queen Slayer, put Brandi asleep again, and got the win. And I thought this was a good match also. And I give this, due to the aggressiveness both showed, I give it a 3.5. Definitely a TV match. Almost pay-per-view quality. It was almost there. But still, it was still a good match. After this, we get Alex Marvez interviewing Scorpio Sky. Scorpio praises Carter, but says he's going for that TNT title, and he's in the top 5. Later, Matt Sydal shows up, and Marvez asks him about his what he did in the Battle Royale back it all out. Sky says Sydal eliminated Spears, so he's going to be looking for revenge. And we will get that match up next. But after that interview, we got a TNT title hype package, which featured Orange Cassidy and Mr. Brody Lee. They square off tonight on Dynamite. Then we had our main event, which was Matt Sydal versus Shawn Spears. Another great match. Both locked it up to start, traded waist locks, and Sydal attempts the headlock takedown, but Spears wasn't having any of that. He finally gets him down and locks him in the headlock after for a bit. Spears attempts to get out of it. Spears goes to the apron, but gets legs swept by Sydal, and he hits the mat apron hard. He hits the ring apron hard. Well, after that, Spears was attempting to run on the outside to get Sydal, but he gets a kick from Sydal instead. He came off camera flying into Spears. Sydal later gets a leaping Hurricane Rana on Spears as he was on the top rope. He later kicks Spears again and goes for a 2 count. He went for he got a pin and he got a 2 count for his efforts. He then hits a standing tornado for a 2 count. Sydal attempted to go to the top rope after, but Spears grabbed his leg. Sydal went for a Rana, but Spears reversed it into a thunder bomb of sorts for a 2 count. Both trade strikes and chops in the middle of the ring. Spears attempted a vertical, but Sydal knee strikes him, and Spears gets an Ushigoroshi off on Sydal. Spears then goes for his C4, but Sydal grabs the ropes, and after that he wipes the turnbuckles off, so he will not be slipping today again. And he went for a Meteora and got a 2 count. Spears later sits in his chair on the outside of the ring, but Sydal used that and came at him with a flying drop kick. And after he brings the chair into the ring, and while he was doing this, totally loaded Shawn Spears' glove on the outside. Sydal then went for his shooting star press, but Spears avoided it. Went for a C4 again, but Sydal escapes. But in the process of this, Spears hits him with the loaded glove. Then gets his C4 finally on Sydal for the win. And I thought this was a great match. Had storytelling and everything. I give it a 3.5. Good stuff. Good stuff. Post-match, Spears attempted to beat down Sydal even more, but Scorpio Sky comes to the rescue. They had some words, but in the end, the show faded to black, and that's how we went off the air. And I thought this 1 hour special was great. All the matches hit. It was good stuff. Action throughout, non-stop action. And if this is an indication of what the second show will be like at 1 hour, sign me up. I think it's good. They just got to find a better time slot for it, because I don't think many people will be watching if it's at like 10 o'clock at night. But we shall see what they do. Overall, I thought the show was great. It was good. But that's it. That was the review for Late Night Dynamite on September 22nd, 2020. And I'll catch you back with Wednesday's Dynamite. Take it easy.